Speaking of Randy Fine, let's get into new updates from the Trump administration on their plans for aid distribution in Gaza. This is a report from Axios that Trump now plans to, quote unquote, take over the Gaza Aid Gaza Aid effort, according to U.S. officials. This is a Barack Ravid story. Also, Mark Caputo is on it, who has sources in Trump World, good sources in Trump World. And Axios reports that Steve Witkoff and Trump discussed plans for the U.S. to significantly increase its role in providing humanitarian aid to Gaza in a meeting Monday evening at the White House, according to two officials and an Israeli official with knowledge of the issue. Trump is set to make remarks, I believe he's set to make remarks at the White House tonight, Ryan. So I think it's probably fair to expect that that's what this will be in relation to.
Yeah, and we've got a little bit of Trump teasing where he is on this now if we want to roll C2.
Would you support Israel reoccupying all of Gaza as has been suggested by some Israeli officials?
Well, I don't know what the suggestion is. I know that we are there now trying to get people fed. As you know, $60 million was given by the United States fairly recently to supply food, and a lot of food, frankly, for the people of Gaza that are obviously not doing too well with the food. And I know Israel is going to help us with that in terms of distribution and also money. We also have the Arab states are going to help us with that in terms of the money and possibly distribution. So that's what I'm focused on. As far as the rest of it, I really can't say. That's going to be pretty much up to Israel.
Yeah, and the mechanism of aid distribution is a central sticking point in negotiations, which are now stalled between Hamas and Israel, with Hamas insisting that the previous aid distribution system run by the UN and a cohort of international aid organizations, which have 400 pre-existing aid sites around Gaza, be re-implemented. And their argument is that if you are concerned about the trucks getting looted as they come in, then you need to send in more than 5 or 10 trucks a day. Because these crowds just swarm. If they know there's only 5 trucks, it's just a game theory situation. If you know there's only 5 trucks coming in for the entire day for 2 million people, then it's worth it to you to risk your life to try to be right next to the truck so that you can pull whatever you can off of it. But if you know that there are 1,000 trucks getting in a day and they're at these 400 different sites, then you're just going to go to the site where you're assigned to, and you're going to get the rations that you're entitled to. Like that's why we did not see these violent scenes, and we can roll now C3, this VO. That's why we did not see violent scenes like this up until Israel took over aid distribution. This is a compilation just from yesterday that with another massacre outside of an aid site. You can hear the gunshots in the background. You can see this man kind of taking his final breaths, and you have this inchoate vision. If you're watching this, there's the crystal blue water in the background of this.
Yeah.
This gorgeous Mediterranean scene surrounded by absolute apocalypse, and it's person after person were trying to get aid, and then it finishes with the man who was filming it realizes that he's filming his cousin, and he starts calling out his cousin's name at the very end there. So this is the aid distribution system that Israel is defending in its negotiations with Hamas, and that Trump says that we are going to continue to fund and become involved with, just to not go back to the original system. Eylon Levy, who used to be the Israel spokesperson before he was fired for getting in a fight with like a UN diplomat.
This was after October 7th.
After October 7th.
And then,
yeah. Just this morning posted something I wanted to share, and maybe we can add this in post. He shared Andrew Fox, a reporter. They brought him to an aid distribution site, and Eylon is sharing Andrew Fox's report. Eylon writes, just think about this for a second. This is what Eylon says as his own. He thinks this makes Israel sound good. He says, IDF uses warning shots to control crowds outside, i.e. firing over people's heads or at open ground to deter stampedes. Andrew Fox says he is, quote, deeply uncomfortable with live fire for crowd control, but there are, quote, few alternatives. Crowds are unruly, potentially infiltrated by Hamas. So according to Israel's own propaganda, they are firing live rounds over people's heads or at open ground to, quote, deter stampedes, which is, have you ever heard of shooting at a crowd to deter a stampede? Separately, they're saying that their crowds are, quote, potentially infiltrated by Hamas. What on earth could that possibly mean?
Yeah.
So you are shooting into a crowd of unarmed Palestinians, over them
Yep.
and into the ground. You accidentally just keep killing them every single day by the dozens, but you're not, they're just warning shots. But you're doing it because they're, quote, potentially infiltrated by Hamas. This is shared by Eilon Levy.
Yeah.
Potentially infiltrated. What are you talking about?
It's just dishonest because the only correct approach then would be to do no aid, and that's what a lot of Israeli officials would prefer. We are going to talk later.
Which is basically what this ends up being.
We are going to talk later about Randy Fine, for example, as just someone who is in lockstep with Netanyahu, essentially saying Israel has no obligation to provide humanitarian assistance to the people in Gaza, children, women, civilians in Gaza. And that is, I think, the much more honest position, as gross as it is. It is the honest position. Saying that these crowds may be infiltrated by Hamas renders, because anything could be infiltrated by Hamas. It is the government of that land.
Right. Why do we bomb that school? Well, could have been infiltrated by Hamas. Why'd you bomb the hospital? Could have been infiltrated by Hamas.
And it's true. And I mean, so David Petraeus had a piece on, he's talked about this on and off for the last couple of years, that there are different ways to isolate military and civilian populations when you go in. He talks about strategies that the U.S. used during the surge in Iraq that he sees as having been very successful, where you isolate the military threats in particular areas, and then you can go and do humanitarian assistance to people outside of like high security compounds in, for example, Gaza. But the point is, if you want to still provide humanitarian aid because you think it helps your position in the world, or because you think it's the right thing to do because children are starving, then saying that it might be infiltrated by Hamas completely renders it impossible. So the only honest thing then to say is that we're just not doing it. We have no obligation to do it. Let the kids starve.
Yeah. And there's a new Sky News fact check of the Ministry of Health casualty figures that we were going to talk about now, but I actually think it would be better to talk about it after your monologue, because it relates to it and to some of the pushback that you got.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.